Hey everyone, TCE right here, your career engineer. Don't get anxious, get prepared. I am Francina Harrison, and today I'm going to come through and talk to you all today about some things about handling scary moments in times such as these. We just recently heard about there's rumors of shutdowns, and rumors of layoffs, and some layoffs actually happening. So this can be an anxious time in this month for many folks, but never fear, your career engineer is here, and we're going to share at least 3 tips. And I'm also going to answer. I picked a really cool question from a viewer, from someone actually on LinkedIn, that I think would really set the stage for some other things I want to share with you today. So, you know what we say, that we're live now, but if you're enjoying us on replay, this is great too. But get your pens, invite your friends, be active in the chat. I'm going to be right back with some of these tips to help you to handle these scary things that happen right now. All right. So, hey, I'm back, and thanks for being here. And again, those of you who are catching the replay, awesome. Please if you have any questions or comments about what I'm going to say today or what I've said in the past, hit me up, info@tcenow.com. You never know. I might take your question and use it for a broadcast, a podcast, whatever we have going on. So let me first make sure. I want to jump to some news and things I want to make sure you guys know. And of course, whichever platform you are enjoying us on, do subscribe. So when I send, because I'm going to be doing some quick shorts and stuff with some good tips, I don't want anybody to miss it. It's so cool when we're live versus replay, but I love my replay people, so don't think I don't. So let me give you some numbers, because we had a jobs report that came out last Friday. Remember, they always show up the first Friday of the month, right? And I want you to know the data, right? And right here, it was robust. It was a very robust report. 254,000 new folks on payroll. That's what that means, is non-farm, right? New folks on payroll. And our 4.2% unemployment, now these are national numbers, went down slightly to 4.1, which is good news. Some people are saying we're cooling, we're slowing. If you're that person that you heard some negative news recently, or you're concerned about those rumors, or you're ready to make a move, I'm saying the numbers are in your favor. Now, for me, because I am in the Virginia area, right? Ours, if you see that the state is the national average is 4.1. Check out the data in your state. You can go to bls.gov or go to your state's unemployment office or whatever your commission is called, and you can see your numbers. For Virginia, it's 2.8%. So you can see the difference between 4.1, 2.8. Bottom line, the numbers are okay. They're looking good in your favor. So that's something I want you to know, because you got to always start with the data. Now, remember, when I get near the end of the broadcast, I'm going to share one of the questions that someone sent. I gotta figure out what my glasses are. I keep getting this little thing on my glasses. Hey, you guys see my eyes? You see my eyes? Yeah, I have real eyes. I do. But anyway, we want to talk about some things. I'm scary now, right? Here I go. Yeah, I'm live. I'm not even gonna edit this out. I'm gonna keep it real. So some scary moments. Now listen, I want to make sure too that you guys hit me up at tcenow.com, because I've blogged on this, and I've got some more meat in the blog, because I don't want this to be a 1-hour presentation, right? So we do have a blog post I really want you to know. So one of the first things that's really important about these times, like we just went through the huge potential, well, it was a day or two old, the strike with the longshoremen, right? And everybody, you saw folks running and panicking and getting tissue and all that kind of stuff. So my point is, these things do happen. It is not uncommon. I'm telling you, I've been doing this a while. The end of the third quarter, which is like September 30th, you see some companies let folks go. In our area, we've seen some layoffs, some Centera. We've seen some downsizing or acquisitions and things, which changes whether or not someone's at the job, and folks get really nervous about it. But here's something that I'm saying, and I know that I say this concept a lot, and I give this from my Navy life, right? Being ready is different than getting ready. I need folk to take it from the military, all right? My military, as a Navy wife, okay? I that type of thing. But being ready, and what we can learn from that is that like right now, if you read the writing on the wall, or you sense something was coming, you're at the water cooler and folks are talking about this, or you're watching the news and something's going, okay? What is if your next step is, well, you know what, something might be happening. Let me go get my resume ready. You're already behind. You've already missed it. Now, listen, I do resume reengineering. I do resume crafting. I do. And trust me, this is great, but it's one thing, like, get it done to be ready just in case, even if something isn't going down a negative way, maybe you just want to test the waters and see what's up. So please change your mind from always got to get ready to be ready. It's a whole different ball game. It really is. It puts you in a different place. And what do I want ready? I want your performance. I want everything that you put that I call your brand. I'm going to break it down in case you don't know what that is. I need to know, do you know your performance? Do you know your numbers? Do you know your numbers? Can you speak numbers? Can you speak performance? Do you know your accomplishments? Or you got to get ready and go figure out what you've done in the last year or the last 3 years or the last 90 days? Leadership. Do you know where you have stepped up? Do you know where you have you stand out? Or you have to go figure that out. And let me think what I did way back from my 9 to 5 or my 9 to 5. And then your strengths. Do you know your strengths? Do you know the places where you're the cornerstone, where you make it happen? You've got this thing, gifts, talents, knowledge, whatever it is. But do you know your strengths? When you put that together, we call that our PALS, PALS, and every single thing that you're going to put in the marketplace, that you want someone to give you access and opportunity. You want someone to give you a phone call. You want someone to email you. You want someone to give you a meeting. You have to speak PALS, and it needs to be on everything that's your brand. And what is that? That resume, of course, it's not going anywhere. Your profiles, not just LinkedIn, but maybe you're on profiles other places, in other spaces, in your memberships and things of that nature. Cover letter, yeah, they're making a comeback. Why not make sure yours is stellar? Of course, the resume, cover, your job search tips, the way you look for things. Are you doing the thing you've been doing for 5 years, 1 year, 90 days? You need to make sure that the places where you have some of your brand is powered up. It's ready to go. Something happens, boom, I'm ready to go. If I got to get it ready, you know, your competition ready, they're out there, right? So please be in that. And the reason that the getting prepared is a great way to block and tackle anxiety and being scared and all that stuff right now. Your body is at ease when you're prepared. You know, anxiety, I would say the biggest cure for anxiety, and I'm talking in the career space, but maybe it's in life. This is what we don't know that makes us anxious, is what we don't know. So if you're not sure who you are and what you bring and your courage and competence to go get it, then know something, get prepared with it. If you block and tackle these things, consider everything a temp job. I've always come from that. I just consider everything a temporary job. I'd love to be in a place for 10 or 15 or 20 years, and not just like the one job, but you know, you're moving up and you're doing something different, but just in case stuff hit the fan. If you hear about acquisitions and mergers and takeovers, like, pay attention to that stuff and make sure that you're ready to go. That's how you block and tackle being scared all the time, is being prepared. And I know some folks don't want to live in a world of I'm always prepared, but guess what? Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the real world. This is where we are now. You need to be prepared, not just in career and business, look in your life too, right? You know, so be ready versus getting ready will reduce your anxiety, will reduce your fear. So right now or this week, after you hear this, do what you got to do to get together. If you can't do it yourself, hire someone. Sure, we're around, and we even have stuff in our store that you can do yourself. You don't have to have me do it if you want to save a little bit of money, okay? And that's okay, because all of our stuff has really good value. Yeah. All right. The second thing to keep you from being scared and how to handle these scary times that tend to happen this time of the year, right after September 30th, it's not uncommon for these companies to do those things. I want you to pay attention. Pay attention to what you're hearing. I mean, listen, eyes open, mouth closed, action. I'm thinking of Sean Connery. I'm like, eyes open, boy. What am I? I even did it in the accent, didn't I? But we have to pay attention to the writing on the wall. We need to pay attention to policy. I know it's dry, it's boring. Who wants to deal with that kind of stuff? That's for other folks. But let me tell you right now, you want to be prepared, you want to be proactive, you got to pay attention. Office politics matters. Those of you who are working remote and hybrid, you got to do extra to stay on top of what's happening at the water cooler, because I know remote working is great, and then all that, it does life wonderful. But you are a bit absent from the water cooler sometimes, unless you're really intentionally paying attention, all right? But I need you to know about the game. I need you to know the players. Whatever industry you're in, whatever office you're in, you need to understand how politics matters. It does. I know we don't want to say it, like I'd be lying to you if I told you it doesn't matter, because it does, okay? So you have to pay attention. You need to listen, you need to vet the right information, and then you need to, as you're getting prepared, do the writing on the wall, right? So here's a good point, a good example of this. For example, if you're in the logistics or supply chain world, well, when the folks were going on strike last week and policy says they're going to go back to the table in January, okay? We got a little respite for Christmas, but please understand the same conversation is showing up in January, okay? If I'm working in the supply chain industry or logistics or transportation or healthcare or education or finance or housing, and there's policy coming down about something getting some infusion or something getting a reduction or a pending strike is happening, and the things I need, the people, places, data, and things I need may be impacted, you need to know where you are on that totem pole. You need to know that for example, if automation, and we all know we're talking about automation. In fact, the longshoremen, and part of their contract, because I pay attention to policy, they want, for the industry to not be so quick to automate stuff on them docks. Now, I don't know how that's going to work, because I don't know how you tell someone to stay in the 19th century, right? I'm just saying, I appreciate where they're coming from, but hey, is automation impacting your place of employment, the industry you're working in? Is the policy changing now? And you have to pay attention to that. So what I would say is, okay, automation is showing up in your industry, transportation, information services, I don't know, coding, acting, insurance, we could keep going. The issue is, don't worry about the 100 people that now will not be working there. If automation shows up because the policy life is changing and things are changing, find out how you're going to be the 50. If they reduce the staff by 50%, how are you going to be the 50? What do you have to bring to the table? Upskilling, reputation, performance, accomplishment, leadership that should be shouting on your brand and out your mouth at the same time, so you can be gainfully making revenue more than just today. This is why office politics matters. Please pay attention to what's happening in your industry. One a good way to do that is make sure you are members of industry, associations or groups, or you go to those network meetings and you do things to stay on top of it, or YouTube is your friend, or news. Okay, news can be your friend, but on the thing of news, I've got to put this here. I've seen career seekers and changers and entrepreneurs act on sources that weren't vetted. Please vet your sources. And vetting doesn't mean read the headline only. It means read several pieces of literature from different places and spaces, and read them with comprehension and understanding before you do something that's going to make your life different. Okay. And, vet stuff. I don't even know any other way to say that. I need people to vet stuff. I'm seeing some professionals with all kinds of degrees acting before vetting, and it's dangerous. So please don't do that. But I do want you to be proactive. So pay attention to those rumors at the water cooler. My experience has been sometimes the water cooler is right. Something's happening. There's some shifting going on. And so I want to be ahead of the game. Do I have September? That's the wrong thing up there. That's wrong. Ignore that. That was last month. Networking. I'm going to say it again. Networking, because all these things about what's happening, the holidays, what will happen after the holidays, depending on retail sales and certain, industries and stuff, how things sometimes change in January. Pay attention. Here's the deal. Network. I'm going to give you an analogy about networking. Maybe this will help folk to understand why I talk about it every single month. And I'm not just talking about flim flam passing out these cards real quick without relationship. I'm talking about relationship networking, what we do in the TCE world. Okay, your car engine. Let me just keep it simple, right? Like, keep it real, because this has happened to me in the past. So your car has an engine, whatever your car is, right now. Now, what happens if you have a car and you fail to do proper maintenance, right? Whatever that is, rotate them tires, do the things you're supposed to do. Refuse to put oil in there, right? You don't want to do no oil changes. You want to keep the old stuff in there and think things are going to run. Hey, gas. Who wants gas? Who needs gas? My engine doesn't need gas. So you're not going to put no gas in the car. All right. And then there's going to be a moment you're going to need to do something. You're going to need some transportation to get from A to B or B to C, right? We're talking networking, access, opportunity, get there. Well, if you don't take care of the engine in your car, it will not take care of you. So, for example, no gas, no maintenance, no oil, no checkups, no rotating them tires. You might be driving the car, it may not be operating in this optimal way, which means it's gonna get you somewhere, but it's gonna be burning oil, steaming up, making all kinds of funny noises, right? That's your car, okay? However, there might be a time you need to get in that car and the engine ain't gonna do nothing. It's gonna have crickets, radios, ain't gonna do a thing, okay? Because you didn't take care of it. You didn't fuel it. You didn't do proper maintenance. You didn't show up. You didn't step up. You didn't do things. So when you need it most, it may not work. Now, here's the deal. Any car, I don't care how beautiful it is. I don't care how old it is. I don't care how new it is. I don't care if it's domestic or foreign. It ain't going nowhere if the engine is dead. There is no movement if the engine is dead. Now, apply that scenario to your networking. Was there any movement? Did you do any any updating? Are you doing any maintenance? If you're not, your engine is dead. And you can get from A, B, and C, but you're not going to be running efficiently. Okay? All them knocks and bangs when you don't have to go through all that just by doing some routine maintenance. So use that analogy for your network. And so the next time someone tells me that's not all of that, I don't have to do it. Okay, your engine is dead. Your engine is stalled. Don't do that to yourself. Get your car running so you can work easier, so you can get in there and go and get to your destination. Look at that for networking. And all that means is that it will work for you. Make it work for you. So when times of, oh my God, what's going on? So-and-so just got laid off. I'm hearing something going on. If your networking is working for you, you've got an inside track always. It doesn't matter externally what's happening. You are always building your real relationships will help you build revenue. Okay, very important. So don't matter the makeup or whatever, and it don't matter if there's no engine, you ain't going nowhere. So let's not be that this time. Okay, let me jump to something which I think is really cool. There's I get a lot of emails. And you guys are great. I want you to continue to send those to me too. Remember, info@tcenow.com, because I might write something about something you said or bring it up on here or on one of our other, ways that I'm talking to people. But someone, young lady, and congrats to this person, magna cum laude, graduate and looking for the jobs in the DC area. Lots of jobs up there in the DC area. It's how it is. But they're not quite getting where they're going. So here I am just sharing about my navigation and the engine, right? So please check your engine parts for navigating and for networking. But what's my best advice on navigating the journey when they're applying and searching and not getting what they want right now? So one thing I would say to folks, because again, I'm going to keep this in generic as I can. Again, make sure that make sure that resume is your first work sample. I need people to think about it that way. So when you do it on AI or you do a template and you spend a half hour, own it on your brand, on your brochure of your gifts and your talents and your knowledge and all the contributions you're going to make to that industry. You get out of it what you put into it. So that's your first work sample. So make sure it's amazing, not good, not great, amazing if you want to move that needle. So that's the most important thing. And it's still relevant. Resumes are still relevant. Please don't listen to anyone says it's not. People will Google you. So make sure you're Googleable and that what comes up, it looks great. It's part of your branding. I would say to folks with that navigating of what's going on, I'm not sure where you're putting it out to and all that kind of good stuff. If you're not putting some true relationship muscle behind it, meaning use some networking, fine. You've got your job board that you like. Maybe there's Indeed. Maybe there's some other niche boards, fine. Word of mouth is always going to be the best way to find the best talent, even now. I mean, these folks, the word of mouth is what's up. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. How are you vetting the companies you're sending your stuff to? Are you doing more research than just your job search board? Right? I mean, are you checking out the companies? Are you going directly to their websites? Are you finding out? Are you using LinkedIn the right way, which is a gold mine when you use it the right way for research, for information, to see who knows someone who may have access. Yep, that's called networking too. So you've got to do, in my opinion, a whole lot of in the front end. It's beyond, by the time you send out a resume, you should have spent about 40 hours of research. That's what I believe. Yeah, for real. And about 50 companies or more. And when I say companies, contacts, it could be government, it could be local, it could be small, it could be the big guys. You've got to know what you want and then make sure you have a market that you're sending your brand to, just like entrepreneurs, okay? Just like entrepreneurs. I don't want to send my resume to anyone and everyone. I want to go to the places that want me, that's expecting me, the places I want to work. How about that? The list of folks, like check your lists, right? Where are you sending it? Have you done research on your list? A, B, C list, that type of thing. Don't just do anywhere and everywhere. That might be you might hit something, you might, but why not be intentional? Go to where your gifts and talents get you prepped for. I mean, think about that. So a lot of times folks are running insane because they're doing anything and everything, and that's not you. That's not for you. You got to do your due diligence. Throttle back a minute, get down with that research, find your top 50 companies you want to work for, 30, 100. Do some research. Who are the players? Who am I going to send this to? Is it the recruiter? Maybe if I'm in supply chain, maybe I'm going to look for the manager in a department for a company that I want to work for. Ooh, imagine that. Who does that? People who are serious about making that connection. It is hard work. It is more work, and that's what we do. And we teach our people how to do that, how to be your own headhunter, because that's basically what you have to do. All right. So to answer that question, I think I gave a whole lot. It's more than just those resumes on Indeed and everything like that, guys. It's more than that. If you really want to land in a place that's meant for you, you've got to know who you are, what you bring. Make sure you're selling it in all your brochures and all your, I call a resume a brochure. I talk like an entrepreneur, right? But you also got to do your due diligence on where you're sending it. Have your list, your Excel sheet, pen and paper. I don't care. But this is a job. Job search is a job, and you got to treat it like one. All right. So that's all I have to say about that. All right, about that. So listen, next month I look forward to seeing you. Remember, we are here 12 noon on Mondays. I changed up a little bit. I want to bring some of these tips here. But remember to make sure you check us out on our website, tcenow.com. The blog has more information. I'm probably going to add, because those new numbers came up too. So I do want to add those numbers to my blog, because you need to know your numbers. But we look forward to seeing you next month, same time. Again, 12 noon East Coast time, or feel free to catch us on a replay. I think I've said everything I need to say today. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember, don't get anxious. Always get prepared. Be blessed. Have a great month. And I'm here if you need me. Take care. Thanks for watching our Career and Business show. I hope you learned a lot about today's topic. If you enjoyed the show, please let me know by visiting our website, tcenow.com, and sending me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, I'm back. How did I do that? That's called live broadcast, and I forgot. I was just so listening to myself, but I'm really gone now. This is no after. I just forgot to push the button. Y'all stay safe. See you next time. Looking forward to seeing y'all